Thanks so much for having me. And even though I may not have individually met you all, people from Melbourne are really friendly. It's been a delight to be here over the last couple of days and learn as much as I possibly can about the city. So I've been here doing some work with the City of Melbourne's Smart City Office, running a workshop on environmental sensing, participating in a couple sessions at the Eco City Summit. And when I was asked to come and speak about a vision for Melbourne as an eco city, I thought maybe I'll take you back to the other side of the world where I'm from, and talk a bit about my experience living in the Delta of the United States and the Gulf Coast region, specifically in Louisiana. And see if there's any lessons learned from my work, specifically working on community monitoring and engagement and thinking about how technology can be built into our lives that can, perhaps spur some conversation and ideas for Melbourne as an eco-city as well. As I said, I live basically at the very southern points of the Mississippi River and the delta of the US South. Many will remember images from 2005 when Hurricane Katrina basically overtook our entire city. As you can see on the right-hand side, our houses were in large part completely submerged below water. But we also live daily with the impacts of flooding from stormwater, and changing climate systems are very real, and we have rapid work to do to be able to be responsive to what it means to be inhabitants of this region at this point. And this, on the left-hand side might look very similar to Katrina, but this is flooding that we experience when there's a heavy rain event in the region. So this is the City of New Orleans has just released our resilience reports, and this is a really kind of scary but great chart that shows how we live with water. So in a place like Louisiana, where we're faced with both decreasing land, so ground that is sinking, and also rising seas, and our hospitality towards big oil companies and other very high carbon industry leads the economy, we have found ourselves in a really tough situation. There's no other way to address this than working collectively to build a culture of resiliency through the coordination of government, of business, and working with the public to rapidly move towards a smart, sustainable economy that understands and exemplifies how to live with water. So I've really appreciated the last two speakers and talking about how we live with our natural surroundings and also thinking regionally. Eco-cities can't just be isolated entities. They exist in a much larger spectrum. So right now in the US, we're seeing a move towards joining forces against climate at the state and city level as our federal government, some of our federal agencies, and specifically our president are, and I'm kind of just saying this lightly, unreceptive to the pressing challenges of climate. The lessons we're learning in New Orleans and the US aren't just specific to us, though. So to successfully make changes to how we live, we need to make sure that people understand their daily impact and are able to see how changes in their personal behaviors can lead to community-wide transformation, and how the actions that they undertake and are received are also reciprocated by other stakeholders, such as the government and businesses. So we all need to be acting in a way that is collectively minded. So enacting equity-based collaborations where people from different backgrounds are coming together to think about our collective resilience and monitor our environment in ways that allow for access to and the use of information is a really powerful strategy for heightening these conversations and moving us towards a sustainable eco-city-centric model. And this is just an example from my own work. We do a lot of work around developing DIY environmental sensing nodes and then working with people on creating scientific studies to look at questions in their own neighborhoods. So this one in specific is a long-term project that we have going in New Orleans that's looking at floodwaters and monitoring the amount of rain that we're getting in different parts of the city with high school students. So one of the core obstacles that we in Louisiana and both elsewhere face is the need for awareness through a more engaged public. It's easy for businesses and governments to put up sensors for gathering data on how people are using a city and to use that data for their own purposes. But if we aren't considering the full life cycle changes to how we're living based on that data, we're going to really be missing a key part of the solution. So it's really important for us to start thinking about how we can receive information that people from outside our agencies are giving us, and it can be useful both for informing how we're moving through cities, but it can also be used for the people that are giving information as well. So the concept of a changing climate and the responsibilities of our citizens to enact change to address this in their daily lives is not easy. So even where I live, and I'm not sure if it's similar here, the term climate change and the science behind it are heavily contested concepts. But people do take notice when rainstorms that are supposed to come once every 100 years are happening once every 5 years, or where temperatures are disruptive to our food sources, such as crops and seafood. Involving people in citizen monitoring has been a really strong way to encourage folks to be engaged and activated in observing and responding to these changes as they start to see them happening in their daily lives. So finally, what does it look like when a city listens to its residents and vice versa, when high school students can contribute information that they've gone out and collected so that they better understand their own neighborhood? We are able to connect climate to our local culture. Decisions are based not just on the assumptions of decision makers, but on data, and that data does not just come from one single source. We're able to increase awareness and the actions of businesses, of residents, and even the people, especially in New Orleans, which is a very hospitable city, the people that are coming to visit us and use our resources. And we give people meaningful ways to participate in the decisions happening about their own city. We also create appropriate technology through engaged design processes so that people living amongst sensors and massive amounts of data won't be skeptical or feel invaded. Residents should understand and contribute to technological solutions, and curated collisions are able to happen in which community knowledge and experience is paired with technological and scientific expertise to create stronger data and science literacy towards how the systems of our cities are working. And finally, as a core goal, eco-cities of the future should focus on building public capacity so that we can make informed decisions about our own behaviors. We can engage local environmental management practices, and we can find integrated ways for people to partake in broader environmental decisions that can inform protective measures for our communities. Thank you.